Michelle, and today we are going to play around a little bit with some puff heat transfer vinyl. I'm going to do a monochromatic look with red on red. So we'll kind of experiment with this together and see how it turns out. This is actually my first time using puff vinyl. I've seen it all over and I have really wanted to try it out a little bit. And so I have this design that I thought would be perfect for it. And you can actually find this design over on our website at mydesignsinthechaos.com. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to weed out all of the stuff that we don't want on our shirt. Now, this vinyl, I will tell you already from the beginning and from working with it, it's a little bit different because typically you put shiny side down on your mat when you're cutting heat transfer vinyl. This one, because the shiny side is the part that is the adhesive, it actually goes face up. And then the frosted side that looks a little more matte with the puff vinyl, that's the part that goes face down on the sticky side of your mat. So that has already kind of threw me for a loop at first. So just make sure when you are cutting the design that you have the shiny side is up, because that's the part that will adhere. Now you're still going to want to mirror your design, which just means flip it horizontally. Most machines, I believe nowadays, depending on which, if you have like the most recent update on your machine, it'll prompt you like, all right, this is heat transfer vinyl, or do you want to, mirror your image? Back 7 years ago when I first started this, I lost a lot of vinyl to forgetting to mirror my image. So just make sure if you're putting this puff on a shirt, you will want to make sure that it's mirrored. Now this particular design, it doesn't matter as much because of the fact that it's going to be the same either way. It is a happy face, but if you have lettering, it will make the biggest difference. So I'm just going to remove the inside of this happy face and you'll start to see the face actually come to life here. And you'll see here too that I'm weeding this with the design still stuck on my mat just to kind of keep it all flat. Now for this, if you really wanted to be kind of crazy, you could keep that and use it for a different project. I'm going to just put it over here to the side for now, but just know that that's an option. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to peel this off of our cutting mat. I'm just going to flip my mat over and peel this off. And put my mat over here to the side, and then I'm going to trim around the outside. I want to save as much of this puff vinyl as I can, and so I'm just going to trim around the outside circle that I have cut for my shirt. You can also put a weeding box around this. I have a full blog post over on the blog that explains what a weeding box is, how to put a weeding box on your design. It basically is a way for you to save extra vinyl so that you don't waste as much. But for this one, because it's circular and round, I'm just going to trim as closely as possible to that edge so that I can save the rest of this. It's not very much, but I'm going to save as much as possible. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to peel up this outside edge. So then I have a nice, sharp, crisp, clean line around the face. Okay, so from here you can see the entire design is weeded, and now we're ready to apply it onto the shirt. So I am trying this with a simple design, so if it goes totally awry, then it's not too obvious, hopefully, or too bad, but we'll see. I've turned my heat press to 280 degrees, which you'll notice is a lot cooler than what you would normally press heat transfer vinyl or iron on vinyl at. Normally I press around 315. So I think I have mine at between 270 and 280. And normally I would press for 15 seconds. And today I'm only going to be pressing for 9. And so I want to see if I can really get this puff to pop on my shirt. So let's head over there and I'll show you my favorite way to make sure that the design is directly in the middle of the sweatshirt, and then let's press it and see what happens. Okay, so this is the shirt that I got. I just grabbed one. It was on sale for like $7 at Walmart. This is a sweatshirt, and we're gonna try this red on red, and I'm hoping that with the puff, it'll kind of make a monochromatic statement. So the best way that I have found to get my design directly in the middle is to fold my item in half. So I'm gonna match up these two seams and fold them in half, and then put them directly underneath the press and give myself just a little press. Make sure it's all kind of lined up all the way down, and then I'm gonna give myself a press on the shirt to put a little crease on there. And then that way I already know where the center of my shirt is, which will make it really easy for me to place my design. So I'm just gonna press it a little bit, and you can see now I have a big crease right in the middle, which is exactly what I want, because when I press it, that crease will go away. Now I'm gonna flatten it out here. And you'll notice too with red, like it gets a little bit darker when you press it. It's just because of the moisture that's in the shirt. As it cools, that will go away. So don't worry on that. So I've got my shirt on here now. Let's grab that puff design. And I've got my puff design, and I'm gonna just fold that in half too. So then that way all I have to do is match up the two creases. So fold that one in half. And so now I've got a crease here, and then I've got a crease here, and all I have to do is just line those up. Now typically what I like to do is for adult shirts, I like to use the 3 fingertip rule, which just means I put my 3 fingers up at the very top and I measure down from there. Sometimes depending on the size of the shirt, I do it even just a little bit more, but that'll give me an idea of exactly where I want that design. And I have this sweatshirt is a little bit oversized, so I'm gonna put it a little bit further than those 3 fingers, like 3.5. And then I'm gonna line up my creases right here in the middle. So that's looking pretty good. Just make sure that's lined up and that's lined up. And then I'm gonna scoop my sweatshirt up so that that collar, that seam is not on my pressing space, because I don't want it to get in the way of having a nice flat press. Now you'll also notice that on my heat press I have a Teflon sheet attached to the top with magnets, so I just keep it up there all the time. That way I don't forget and I don't accidentally burn any of the vinyl. I also have here next to my heat press, this is some heat tape. If you are worried about your design moving or you want to make sure it stays in the right spot, you can always use some of this heat tape and press it on there. I'm not going to do that because the back of this design is sticky, and so I feel like it's going to stay in place well enough where I don't necessarily need that. Sometimes you need this for if you're doing layers or something like that. For this one simple design, I'm just going to kind of go with it and see what happens. Like I told you, this is my first time using puffs, so we're going to kind of experiment together. So let's go ahead. We have it lined up. It's in the middle. I'm trying this new monochromatic look, and let's press it. Rather than pressing for 15 seconds, I'm just going to press it for 9. Let's do it. Okay, so now that it's been pressed, it's a warm peel, which just means I'm going to remove that carrier sheet while it's still warm. And then you can see it's kind of puffed up there. It's giving me a nice monochromatic feel. Now, some of the coloring, it looks like up here at the top, it's a little bit darker than it is at the bottom. So I think I'm gonna give it one more press just to make sure. Now, I need to be really cautious with this. I'm only gonna do it for a couple of seconds because I don't want it to, if you look at the vinyl right now, it's that nice puff without it being wrinkly, and that's what I want. I don't want it to get wrinkly. If it gets wrinkly, it'll still look okay, but I'm gonna give it one more press just to see if I can even out some of that vinyl coloring. Just for a couple of seconds. And overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. Let's see how this turned out. Let's get an up close look. So see, I got this cute monochromatic red on red new Valentine's Day sweatshirt with a nice puff. can see it's kind of raised up a little bit. Ooh, I can't wait to wear my new Valentine's Day shirt. Super cute.